first time I've been to this city. It's sort of interesting. It's very nice. Yeah. How many of you first timers here? Oh, a couple of you. I'm just trying to see whether I'm actually preaching to the choir or actually trying to create even more choir members. But anyway. Oh, welcome anyway. It's sort of interesting because I was sitting at the back listening to Scott, and he's a wonderful guy because when I first met him more than 20 years ago, when we first launched the scan back in 2003, he was actually just about to leave college. You know, I mean, it's sort of incredible. He's been here. I don't know whether you realize that he's been with the company for more than 25 years now. And there's seldom, frankly, you know, I'm going to play a little bit of a devil's advocate in this business. Yeah? I have never met that many leaders in a network marketing company like us in Nu Skin that has so many leaders that have been around for so long. You know, for many of you, I'm going to put myself into your shoes in a little bit. Why are you here tonight on Thursday evening, right? I think, gosh, at the end of the day, most likely you want to see whether this is an attractive business and whether it is something that you wish to do to achieve financial success. Fundamentally, that is what you want sitting here at almost getting close to 9 o'clock, right? On a Thursday evening. So, but I think you may also pause a little bit and think about whether this business that you're going to go into is going to be a flash in the pan, or is it really sustainable? Right? That's what I found. Kathy mentioned I came from Pharmanex, and by the way, I was actually further up the road. We started Pharmanex back in 1995, and then it got acquired by Nu Skin in 1998, when they saw what we were doing and so on. I like to think we acquired Nu Skin rather than it. That's another story for another night and for something else. Anyway, so and it is that commitment, right? And Scott has shown you some of those data and so on. I'm not going to try and repeat and describe again what he has just told you. In fact, on the product side, Rebecca has given you wonderful descriptions of those products as well. I'm going to give you a little bit about the background and the why, if you will. The ones that really, some of the reasons I'm hoping to share with you that why I actually stayed with Nu Skin for over 25 years. You see, so it's sort of really interesting, right? Fundamentally, you're going to hear a lot of science. Scott mentioned that and so on and so forth, and what we do. Rebecca gave you a lot of descriptions about antioxidants and the hundreds of papers and articles that we have published, if you will. So fundamentally, it's not just me, right? We are talking about the 75 scientists that we have in Nu Skin. They are the ones who have been doing all this wonderful work. I'm merely a spokesperson. But it really does illustrate the science that we do. But why do we do science? To impress you? No. It's a fundamental belief and commitment in Nu Skin that when we say our products work, it's based on evidence. It's not just paying lip service. It's not putting a wet finger in the air and say this product works. It's never about that. I can easily create, all of us can easily create a company in this industry, frankly, just based on faith. This product is good for you because my grandmother said so. All right? He has cured a lot of people and so on and so forth. In Nu Skin, the ethos is not to say that if we don't have the proof.
That's what our science is. Our science is essentially a guarantee, and these are the steps that we do, and so on. But it's a guarantee for what? It's a guarantee that our products, the most recent ones that Rebecca has spoken to you and described some of them, that they will never ever embarrass you. Because I also realize, in a sense, that the reality of the business is not everybody is going to join you as a business partner. Right? They'll become a customer, and you're going to see them because they're revolving in your world. And sooner or later, one day you're going to see, but those products, if they have been taking them, just merely as a customer, they will never ever embarrass you. And I can't say that, and Rebecca can't say that if we don't have the scientific evidence to back that up. We've always been that. That's part of our DNA, if you will. And I'll take you to the point now why we think the PRYSM is. Because the PRYSM now is something that we cannot hide. You either see it or you don't. You are now part of Nu Skin insofar as you are able to give almost instant evidence that our products work. Okay? We spent the last 40 years, 1984, that was when Nu Skin came out. You know, there are lots of words being said. And was incredibly successful, Nu Skin, even on the onset of the inception of Nu Skin back in 1984. But what are we saying to all of you? You're going to walk out of here after listening to all of us telling you and proselytizing or whatever, preaching to you almost, after 2 hours. Fundamentally, in 1984, when I look back and listen and hear everybody say what they were talking about, it came down to this. It's always about all of the good, none of the bad. The products, the business opportunity, and so on and so forth. Right? That was the fundamental cornerstone that Nu Skin is built on 40 years ago. Another one, Pharmanex. That's when we came in 1998. What do we really bring? I showed you the success process. Yes, we brought that. Yes, we brought the scientists and so on and so forth. But it's really all about making sure that our nutritional products, as I alluded to, will never ever embarrass you because they are science-based. That's what we brought. It's very much connected and very consistent, is it not, to the first message we put out for Nu Skin. And then the biophotonic scanner, 2002. That's when I met Scott. More than 20 years ago, we already have the biophotonic scanner. And you've heard a lot about antioxidants. And you have every right to ask the question, okay, you brought out 20 years ago. Yes, Scott was successful and so on, but he actually gave you a reason. At that time, it was all about antioxidants, frankly. If you ever go out and you try to talk to somebody and convince somebody you need to have antioxidants in your body, what do you think your first answer would be? What is an antioxidant? You have to become a scientist. It took me more than 20 years to teach Scott to tell the story. Right? So, and you don't have that much time. I've been told this is a people business. But you still have to describe it in some way to retain or to at least hang on to the person who would be willing to listen to your story. Is it not better? This is where the key thing is with the evolution of the PRYSM. If you miss anything, it is the evolution to the fact now that a scanner is a nutritional health monitor. Is it not much easier for each and every one of you to get into an elevator, right? Even that one I think it works in Sheraton. It's getting old. Isn't it much better if you meet a stranger? Is it? How about me telling you about your nutritional health. Rather than say, how about me telling you what your antioxidant is? Huh? You see the switch here? That's the key. It's the transformation of the biophotonic scan that's going to talk about in a minute in PRYSM. HLOC, that's the gene expression that Rebecca hinted at with some of the products that you spent, was a culmination of all the science that we did. But it's a step up. And then obviously we have the beauty devices, right? I like to call these things, these opportunity platforms that we have created over the last 40 years, or at least the new skin, 5 smooth stones. Why do I call them the 5 smooth stones? And that's because, if you go back and look at the Old Testament, David slew Goliath with 1 smooth stone with a slingshot. Everybody knows that story, right? But what if you have read on, you would have known that David had 4 other stones, smooth stones, in his pouch. Why? Because he knew that Goliath has 4 other brothers. You didn't know that. And he may, sometime in the future, would have to face one of those brothers or all those brothers. He better be prepared. And that's what we've been doing over the last 40 years in New Skin, right? Is to give each and every one of you a smooth stone. And that's why I'm hoping that we are very different from any company around there. You know, I hear, we're meeting in a hotel room. Most likely there was a previous meeting here from a different company. And most likely, they could have said, oh, you know, New Skin, really old company. Not a ground floor opportunity anymore. Come on, you know, really? Sounds good, but really not that much. Just in addition, rather than just 5 smooth stones, the PRYSM is our 6 smooth stone. Yeah. So, and then why is this PRYSM so exciting, right? Tell me where the star is. It's hard. It's hard. Generally, it's hard, right? You've got to squint. You've got to focus. It's almost like, where is the star? That's what the PRYSM does. Instant recognition of location or the status of your nutritional health. Okay? And here's the evolution. You've seen this. Everybody, Scott has shown you this. Rebecca has shown you this. So, the trajectory of the biophotonic scanner since 2003 was great on the engineering side. Got better, got more reproducible, got smaller. But at the end of the day, it was still just measuring antioxidant. We had a great inkling. We had some circumstantial evidence that it could mean more, but we could never say that. Because we didn't have all the scientific evidence. In other words, we could not translate what is the value of having antioxidants in our bodies. What's the point? Why are they there? Is there a benefit? We knew, we suspected, but we never knew. So, what we've done with the PRYSM, after all those 20 years accumulation and all those 22 million people around the world, you know, that we measured and looked at the score. What you did not realize was we took also information on their lifestyle. Smoking, not smoking, diet, what are they eating, what else do they have? The obesity, their BMI and so on. You know, we have taken them. And what now, you know, we talk about AI. What does that mean? You don't have AI if you don't have data. You cannot drive, you cannot actually utilize AI if you don't have a database. Why do you think Elon Musk is building a multi-billion-dollar data center in Mississippi. And that's because he has to crunch a lot of data to be able to exercise AI. Go ask any data scientist. You know, we throw the word AI as if it's, oh, everybody can do AI. Oh, everybody can use ChatGPT. But you know how difficult it is if you don't have data? You have to train, right? You're going to hear this word a lot. Oh, I got to train my AI to tell me what I should know, and it has to be an accurate one. I have to train it. It's the prompting. So it's all about the data. And that's what nobody has. Now we have to prove that the PRYSM, when it measures antioxidants, those carotenoids, and so on, that it does translate to your nutritional health. And that's a very broad benefit. And I'll tell you why in a minute. Right. You saw this one. That's what it called on the right side, that antioxidant database that we have, that I just mentioned to you. That drives, or that is incorporated into measuring where you get the PRYSM, and then through the engineering feed of this hyperspectral absorption is such a fancy word. You should learn how to pronounce that so that when you go to a cocktail party, you can tell people, you know, about hyperspectral absorption. Much better than having 3 martinis, right? Anyway, so it's a combination of those two things together that actually drives PRYSM. That's why it's so powerful. The previous biophotonic scanner couldn't achieve this. It could measure antioxidants, but it could never translate. The PRYSM can do that. And that's why the score is different, the scale that we use. And why is beta carotene important, right? Sometimes, as you go through this exercise, and each and every one of you, you will be faced with this question with some clever guy, like Hans at the back here, will ask me, oh, you're only measuring carotenoids. Why are you calling it a measurement of all antioxidants? Because another clever guy by the name of Professor Packer from Berkeley told me, and told all of us, that in fact the beta carotene is part and parcel of this so-called antioxidant network in our body, right? And what happens is when you have the beta carotene level drop, the whole network unravels. That's why it's now a great biomarker of the antioxidant network. It's not just measuring carotenoids, and that's all we can relate it to. It's an indicator of things to come in the antioxidant network. Key point. In fact, some of our competitors don't even understand. Sometimes I say, wow, do they really have scientists? They don't even understand this particular concept. And all these things that we've done, right? Data point and all that, that's what's driving our AI. The algorithm in PRYSM. Right? So, just to simply put it, when you walk out of here, you're going to listen to antioxidants. Great, wonderful. But you know now the meaning of the antioxidant is about nutritional health. That's what the PRYSM measures. And that's what translates to, because of this broad impact on the whole body, is about healthy aging. Now, some young ladies here, or folks here, right? This is not just about your grandmother or your mother or whatever should worry about aging. I'll change the word aging to youth preservation. You would be more receptive. Right? Because I've heard sometimes a comment, oh yeah, anti-aging product, oh, I don't need them, I'm still young. Not really. If I say these products preserve your youth, you would be more interested, right? Same thing. Same coin. And that's what you need to remember that, the translation. If you don't believe me, here's the most prestigious journal in the world in science. And it's called, in fact, it's called Science. This was published quite a few years back. There's a finch. You know that beak? The female finch will always go for the male that has the brightest beak. Every time. Proven. This is published in Science, the most prestigious journal, okay? So the beak color is obviously determined by the carotenoids. That's what they discovered, okay? So my conclusion after reading this, I got really excited. Because really, the PRYSM, at the end of the day, I don't know. Got it? See, it's scientifically proven. No doubt about it. So biomarker nutrition is what I'm hoping you guys will realize the potential, the impact of the PRYSM scanner. Right? All of you are now nutritional evangelists. All right? You really are. And you don't believe me. Do I have Koreans here? A couple of Koreans. Oh, yeah, I understand. Okay. All right. The Koreans, when they were living in Korea, they were really healthy. Because when we scan all our Korean friends with the PRYSM, they have the highest average. All right, be quiet. I haven't finished it. But when you guys come over here, your average dropped like a stone because your diet changed. You stop. Actually, I have a theory. And my theory is, I think you stop eating kimchi. You didn't realize your kimchi has the highest level of antioxidants, did you? Yeah. Oh, the Chinese, when they come over here, they all get eaten over. They're not even eating too well, like in Asia. Anyway, so nutritional health, right? I mentioned to you, remember, that's the relevance and the value of the PRYSM calculation and all that when you talk to folks and so on, is because it impacts everything else in the body. Regardless of organ system or wherever, all right? So that's this broad. Because there's one thing that I've learned, because my first half of my scientific career, I was in the pharmaceutical industry. What I have learned is that drugs are indeed good and effective for treating diseases. But they're not good in healing the body. The body has to heal through nutrition. All right? Every single culture in the world says it in a different way, but it always comes down to this. You know, in Chinese, in Cantonese, I think it's that qi thing. You have to heal the body. That's important. And that's what nutrition does, is to make and fortify your body stronger. And you can actually see it now. You don't have to be on faith through the PRYSM scanner. Right? And then you see all this data we can ship and all these things. It's very interesting. In the fact that, you know, this is not, again, from the scanner historically. We've been accused as a company that we made and developed the scanner to be nothing but a life pack detector. Yeah. Oh, you heard that, huh? Yeah? Oh, yeah, you know, yeah, New Skin, they put a leprechaun inside that scanner, so when Herbalife comes through, I shouldn't say Herbalife. Okay, whatever. Number comes through, so this is a Herbalife product. Yeah, let's dial down the score. Right? When Emily comes through, they should all flatline. Yeah. That's our term that we use internally, when people don't score at all on the scanner. So, anyway, but that's what it is. So all this nutrition, when the carotenoids are in there, and when we say they're PRYSM certified, it actually means, to me, it means more than that. What it means is that the products in and of itself, they're already working because they have other ingredients in there that will help them to target that particular organ system. But what happens is the carotenoids, because of this broad nutritional impact, is actually a booster. It actually makes those products actually would work better. Right? It has some meaning. We're not gaming the system. So, and obviously the app, nobody has talked about this app. It's going to be interesting. I'll leave it to Kathy and the other folks to tell you when you get the app. It's going to be really an integral part of the business. So, you got your report card. Right? And all of you, you're going to go out. Because, frankly, everything that you have heard tonight, none of this is going to work if you guys are not going to work. I've learned that over the last 20 years. In fact, right? You can sit here and you can listen and you can get excited, but you gotta go take action. And you're taking action in more than just your financial success in your way. I'm actually tricking you. I like you to think that you're actually helping a person to get healthier. I think that is even a more, higher goal, if you will. Right? So, and through that, the more people you help, obviously, it will automatically translate to financial success that we all see. So that's what we have on the PRYSM. It's launching. It actually is a hockey puck. One of our guys actually threw it down from, if you've been to Provo, you've seen that we have a tall building. This guy threw it down from the atrium and it rolled and it didn't break. It was a great hockey puck, yeah. There's another game that you play on board, right? You can play that, what do you call that? Yeah, you can do that too, right? Yeah. The Asians like to play that game, yeah. Anyway, so I think that's, hopefully I give you some background and some meaning. Why is your hand out? It's not a Q&A question. Kathy, can I answer?
You can answer one question.
There you go, Kathy.
And then we're going to give away prize.
I will.
Just one? Just one.
Yes.
Make it a good one.
I mean, can we make a wish list? For PRYSM.io, can we actually keep track of customer information after the scanning? So we can do follow-ups.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yay!
Yeah. Yeah. Great question. Okay. Thank you, Kathy.